Mainland government will not give up on this area. With sufficient privileges, it's impossible for Hong Kong to weaken too much. When housing prices drop, they will rise again. Besides, there's still the North-South region. As the mainland develops, can Hong Kong's housing prices really fall? It's simply impossible. Thus, the 2008 financial storm is also temporary. How could it destroy Hong Kong? Old Master, he nodded and smiled lightly. Ah-Fei sees through it clearly. You understand much more than my foolish sons. I need to learn from you. By the way, I have one thing I want to clarify. What do you plan to do with the gambling boat? When it came to this matter, Qin Fei glanced at Qin Yao and Yang Yi, who were happily eating. The equipment on the gambling boat was excellent. It was indeed quite good. He smiled and said, "The Las Vegas gambling boat is beautiful. I plan to host yacht parties to provide services for the upper class, and if my company has any events, you can also come here to play, and moreover, my sister really likes it here." Old Master, he is certainly proud of the luxury of this yacht, but the foundation of the He family is at stake. This time, during the conversation with Qin Fei, he viewed the young man in front of him with greater respect. The other party's maturity and stability are indeed far better than those of his incompetent children. So far, there hasn't been a second generation capable of managing the He family, and instead, there have been many open and covert struggles for power. The He family is bound to be destroyed sooner or later. Wealth does not last beyond 3 generations, and that's just how it is. No matter how rich one is, if the children are incapable, even the largest aristocratic families will meet their end. Old Master, he sighed, saying faintly, "Since 2000, AO Port has no longer been the world of the He family. Now that there is a young generation like you in Xiangjiang, I think it's time for a change of dynasty. This Las Vegas yacht, I can sell to you for 30 billion Hong Kong dollars, but I have one condition." Old Master, he took the initiative to speak, which surprised Qin Fei. He didn't expect the other party to really be willing to sell, and for only 30 billion Hong Kong dollars. This was indeed unexpected. With a reduction of 20 billion Hong Kong dollars, the other party definitely has conditions. And Qin Fei looked over calmly, having already guessed what condition would be proposed. He said lightly, "Old Master, you want to know about the U.S. stock market, right? How long can this storm in the U.S. stock market last? Or the profits from trading in the U.S. stock market?" Old Master, he nodded, and Qin Fei immediately understood. It seems that the He family really bought a lot of U.S. stocks and held a lot of dollars. The U.S. stock market has plummeted, and the dollar is continuously declining. The He family must have incurred significant losses. For example, the original 10 billion U.S. dollars in AO currency placed in a U.S. bank suddenly dropped by 10 in less than a month. It is now only 9 billion U.S. dollars, directly losing 1 billion U.S. dollars. Is this loss significant? It is indeed very substantial. This loss is much greater than losing 20 billion Hong Kong dollars. With so many assets, the He family's investments in U.S. banks cannot be resolved. It's no wonder that the He family is willing to invite him to the yacht, intending for him to help them get out of this predicament. Qin Fei couldn't help but smile lightly upon realizing this. Just obtaining the Las Vegas yacht for 30 billion Hong Kong dollars is not enough. He plans to raise the price. Old Master, you should understand that the dollar is difficult to manipulate. The most powerful in finance are those elites on Wall Street, and they do not allow others to touch their cake. No one dares to rob Wall Street's money. Chapter 65. The one who dares to fight Wall Street. It's true that although he has beaten the stock god Buffett twice, when it comes to the financial street of the lighthouse country, Wall Street, everyone understands the terror of this place. It's where a group of financial tycoons, the world's top elites, gather. If you want to play with these people, no amount of money will be enough. Others rely on the entire lighthouse country, pulling out hundreds of billions of dollars to play. Tens of trillions of dollars is just a small matter. A single He family cannot have assets worth trillions of dollars. At most, they might have hundreds of billions of dollars. They definitely cannot come up with $1 trillion figure. Old Mr. He knows this very well, but he still has a smiling face. For others, Wall Street is the real devil, the true financial winner. But for Mr. Qin, Wall Street is just a paper tiger. You have clashed with Mr. Buffett and even collaborated with him. I believe there's no one in Hong Kong who can compare to Mr. Qin. Indeed, not only old Mr. He, but other members of the He family also began to praise him. The financial figures in Hong Kong are no match for young Master Qin. If we say Mr. Qin is the number one in Hong Kong's finance, he is far ahead of everyone else. While others cannot play the U.S. stock market, Mr. Qin absolutely can. Besides Mr. Qin, there is no one else daring to play with that group of people on Wall Street. Mr. Qin is the first. The financial street of Hong Kong is rubbish. Those useless people have already been beaten to a pulp by Wall Street. The sharp drop in Hong Kong stocks and the crazy decline of the Hang Seng Index is due to the influence of the U.S. stock market. That group from Wall Street has already taken a lot of money from Hong Kong's finance, but no one in Hong Kong's financial building can do anything. This is the gap, so they understand very well that in Hong Kong's finance, no one can step in to challenge the U.S. stock market, except for Qin Fei. Truly no one else can do it. Qin Fei had a confident look on his face. He understood his own confidence and smiled. He spoke again. The risk of playing the U.S. stock market is too high. In fact, I generally don't want to engage in this. Mr. Buffett has even invited me to dinner, and we have collaborated once. It wouldn't be good to fall out. His troubled expression prompted old Mr. He to give him a glance, and young Master, he quickly stepped forward. With great respect, he said, "Young Master Qin, how about this? We are willing to offer 10 billion US dollars, as long as you can raise the USD-AUD exchange rate for a period of time. Let it fall back to a certain price level, and the profits will be yours. We only want the trend of the USD-AUD. Qin Fei smiled. It was certainly good for the other party to offer funds and let him keep the profits. However, he still smiled and said, 10 billion US dollars is too little. At least 20 billion US dollars would be reasonable. That group from Wall Street can easily move tens of trillions of dollars. To be honest, 20 billion US dollars is not enough." They understood this point very well. Upon hearing that Qin Fei was willing to agree, adding an extra 10 billion US dollars was not a big deal. Old Mister. He nodded in agreement. Young Master, he laughed happily and immediately began to converse brightly. This time, several of them planned to cooperate to manipulate the USD-AUD exchange rate. According to the current exchange rate of around 9.06, they hoped to directly raise it to 10. Then it would fall back to the price level of 9. These two fluctuations may seem like just 1 point, but in reality, the operation is very difficult. With such large fluctuations, that group from Wall Street would not sit idly by. When the time comes, that group from Wall Street will intervene and take control. Don't think about making money. You'll end up losing everything. Qin Fei understood this very well. It involved trillions of dollars in fluctuations, and he could not be careless. Anyway, it was agreed that all operations would be his responsibility at that time, and it could not affect his operations. This fund was completely at his disposal. Don't ask him how to spend this money. The He family nodded without hesitation and even reached a verbal agreement without signing a contract. This was due to their trust in Qin Fei. With his net worth of hundreds of billions of HKD and being the largest shareholder of TVB. How could he deceive them out of 20 billion US dollars? They didn't believe that, so this conversation reached a consensus very easily. Once they were at sea, they enjoyed themselves even more. Fishing on the sea was a delightful experience. Fresh seafood tasted particularly delicious. The He family truly enjoyed it, as they had already prepared a top-notch 5-star chef on board. As soon as the fresh ingredients arrived, the chef immediately cooked the most delicious and tasty food. Even at the top restaurants, they could not enjoy such a meal. Qin Fei sighed. The He family certainly knew how to have fun, and being with these fun people broadened his horizons. Not to mention himself. Even Qin Yao and Yang Yi were very happy to eat. After tasting the freshly caught shark fins, both felt it was the best they had ever had. Bro, these shark fins are so fresh and sweet. The taste is really great. Wow, this is the best I've ever had. The flavor is amazing. Yes, cousin. This is even better than what we had at the top hotel in Hong Kong. Old Mister, he also had a smile on his face, laughing as he said, "By then, I'll fake and buy a boat and go fishing every day, enjoying the freshest seafood." In just a few days, the yacht would belong to Mr. Qin. Upon hearing this, the two girls looked at Qin Fei in disbelief, utterly confused about what this really meant. Did Qin Fei really plan to buy a yacht? And had he already negotiated it? Qin Fei, however, maintained a calm demeanor and said, "Old Mister, he is joking. It hasn't even begun yet." How do you know I can earn 30 billion Hong Kong dollars to buy this yacht? Old Mr. He did not speak, but the members of the He family laughed heartily. If they said Qin Fei couldn't make money, how could they possibly believe it? A person's net worth represents their strength. Young Master Qin really knows how to joke. For young Master Qin, 30 billion Hong Kong dollars is just a matter of minutes. Yes, young Master Qin acquired TVB in just a few days. That was worth over 100 billion HKD. Off-phase strength means this gambling ship will take no more than 3 days, in my view. We can hand over the ship to you after 3 days. Qin Fei smiled and said nothing. It was a kind of enjoyment. Talking with intelligent people is very pleasant. The admiring gazes from Qin Yao and Yang, he made his smile even brighter. He knew both girls loved yachts. By the time he bought it, they could have fun sailing it, which would also be a joy. After dinner, looking at the beautiful scenery on the sea, Qin Yao truly felt reluctant to leave. This yacht is fantastic. Clinging to Qin Fei's arm, she said sweetly, bro, this yacht is just perfect. We really have to buy it, right? Wow. Does this mean we can always come out to play in the future? Qin Fei smiled indulgently and said, you can stay here as long as you want. Qin Yao's face was filled with joy and excitement. Qin Fei's plan was to buy this luxury yacht. After a day of enjoyment, this target was further confirmed. After all, this gambling ship was too beautiful. It was rare for Qin Yao to like it so much. Yang, he was also interested in playing at sea. With both girls falling in love with it, he certainly wanted to buy it. The other party offered a price of 30 billion Hong Kong dollars, which was considered a very low price. Others could not get such a price. Just the historical and cinematic value of this yacht was worth over 100 billion HKD. Therefore, 30 billion Hong Kong dollars was a friendly price. As the other party wanted him to raise the AUD, they also offered an extra 20 billion US dollars for him to operate. Soon, the luxury yacht docked at the shore. The short outing came to an end, and Qin Yao and Yang, he looked nostalgic. After all, they had both taken a liking to this yacht, which was genuinely large. It could easily accommodate hundreds of people, and the facilities were indeed complete, with everything that should be there. No matter what, it is one of the 3 major gambling ships of the He family. Since both women like it so much, Qin Fei decided to make money and buy it. He currently has 50 billion Hong Kong dollars in the bank. And with the 20 billion US dollars given by the He family, it totals nearly 200 billion Hong Kong dollars. Manipulating the exchange rate of USD/AUD is not a problem at all. He just needs to wait for the market to open after the weekend. After returning home, Qin Fei received a call from the He family. All the money was transferred to his bank card, and if there were any other instructions, the He family would definitely fulfill them. Hearing this, Qin Fei smiled and said directly, all right, there's one thing I still need the He family to help me with. I need the news agency to promote a favorable trend for USD/AUD. Next, what Qin Fei needed to do was simple. Engage in a financial war with those on Wall Street by buying and driving up the Australian dollar. He would definitely attract those people to the market. In terms of finance, Wall Street is extremely sensitive. Therefore, many foreign exchange markets and futures markets are controlled by Wall Street. This is true for global finance. The codename of Wall Street resonates throughout the world. Although he has defeated the stock god Buffett a few times, it doesn't mean that Wall Street is a bunch of losers or incompetent people. The ones who play the game of global finance the best are these people, and a few failures mean nothing to them. For these people, including Buffett, they can fail a few times and still have enough capital to make a comeback. But if you fail once, it's a complete loss. Do you have the capital to continue competing with others? It's simply impossible. Therefore, what makes Wall Street's people the most terrifying is their financial chain. They can afford to lose and dare to fight, while you cannot afford to lose and cannot engage in a financial war. There is not a single country in the world that can compete with them, nor is there a single person. That is why the gambling king He family is willing to offer such a high reward. Really, apart from Qin Fei, no one else dares to take on this challenge. Who would dare to let eggs collide with stones? But Qin Fei is different. After all, he is not an egg, but a diamond. Why wouldn't this diamond dare to collide with stones? He wants to see who is tougher. After getting off the yacht and returning home, Qin Fei dived into his study and began analyzing the recent trends of the US dollar. During the 2008 crisis, the trend of the US dollar was a decline. Chapter 66. There is no one else can you directly profit by shorting in a downturn? It's impossible. Even small fluctuations in Forex carry significant risks. You might earn a lot from one drop, but a subsequent rise could wipe out all your gains. Therefore, Qin Fei must be cautious when dealing with these people. He cannot afford a single loss. Absolutely no wave of losses can occur, or else this round will surely lead to a total collapse. Now, he was completely focused, so much so that he didn't even notice Yang Yi approaching him. Yang Yi sensed Qin Fei's unprecedented seriousness and was preparing coffee nearby. She cautiously asked, "Cousin, isn't it difficult to deal with the Australian dollar? The He family clearly has no way out since they came to you. With their extensive connections, if they can't manage it, isn't it hard for you too?" Qin Fei nodded, his expression calm as he replied, "Yes, if it's the usual USD JPY. Large Forex trades are still manageable because those Wall Street folks are hard to manipulate. But with small Forex types, these people are the easiest to rig. It's impossible to win against them in small Forex. Indeed, in large Forex, the highest trading volume of USD JPY is at the top of the world. Even the stock god cannot control it. So, no matter how much capital Wall Street has, mistakes can still happen. But small Forex is different. Those on Wall Street have ample funds and can even take down the banks of small countries. If the national banks collapse, how can a Forex not plummet? Thus, the risk with USD/AUD is even greater. Of course, Yang Yi didn't understand all this. She only knew that Qin Fei was incredibly capable to have the He family's acknowledgement. Her cousin was the strongest. No matter whether Qin Fei could make money, she didn't care. Even if Qin Fei lost everything, she would willingly help him pay off debts and work for him. Helping her cousin repay his debts was something she was ready to do because her current reputation was all thanks to him. She absolutely supported and trusted Qin Fei unconditionally. "Cousin, I believe in you. No matter what happens, I will be with you," Yang Yi said with a sweet smile, showing her genuine commitment. Qin Fei certainly wouldn't let her down. Even if it was difficult, he wasn't afraid. Soon, he found a suitable price point, waiting for the forecasting ability to kick in the next day. He planned to predict the opening trends twice. Generally, Forex trading involves several openings and closings, so achieving the desired result in one go was impossible. He intended to split it into several operations. First, he aimed to let the USD/AUD rise by at least 0.5 points. This was the start, and failure was not an option. He contacted the He family and asked them to release the first wave of news. He knew that Wall Street would definitely seize the opportunity to enter the market. During the 2008 financial crisis, many lost significant money and wouldn't miss any chance to profit. Rather than waiting for them to enter voluntarily, it was better to lure them into his trap, forcing them to enter passively. That was his first step. After making his predictions and observing the trend, this wave of operations had already begun. With the gambling king, He family releasing the news, the real competition had commenced. The gambling king invited Hong Kong financial traders, aiming to raise the AUD with hundreds of billions of dollars. The USD/AUD was beginning to recover. AUD would break 10, which would significantly impact the gambling business. Once the news was out, it was clear that the AUD was indeed rising, attracting considerable attention. Among those paying the most attention were the folks on Wall Street. Mike Keel, a senior trader at a Wall Street trading firm, primarily dealt with small currency transactions. During the 2008 financial storm, many small currencies were easy to manage. He profited significantly from this storm, causing numerous banks to suffer losses and even leading some small banks to bankruptcy. This earned him substantial wealth, making him one of the notable figures on Wall Street, second only to the stock god Buffett in capital operations. There are powerful figures on Wall Street besides Buffett. Confident in himself, Mike Keel saw the news about the AUD recovering and couldn't help but smirk, saying, "The USD is falling. They want to raise the AUD by selling dollars and then shorting the AUD. It won't be that easy. Small Forex still depends on us on Wall Street. Give me $50 billion to drive it down, and it can't follow their trend." With $50 billion involved, it indeed caused the USD/AUD to drop. However, this was all within Qin Fei's expectations. The He family relayed the message that the USD/AUD was dropping and not rising. The He family was quite anxious because they desperately wanted to sell their dollars. knowing that the He family had a substantial amount of dollars to cash out. Qin Fei calmly said, "Don't worry, it won't drop below 9. It will stop at 9. This was all anticipated. He was prepared to start operations from 9. The more they invested, the more he would profit. Indeed, with $20 billion invested, he exchanged his funds back into dollars and added more. Holding steady at the 9 position, according to his predictive ability, 9 would definitely hold, which is why he was so audacious. He confidently assured the He family. And the reality was as he predicted. After the drop started, 9 was not broken. The initial sharp decline halted at 9, suddenly stopping. The influx of Wall Street's $50 billion showed no fluctuation at all. If 9 couldn't be broken, all that $50 billion would be trapped. The risks increased every minute. Mike Keel looked at the USD/UD at 9 and became serious, gritting his teeth as he stared at his account balance. He could only invest more. After all, it had already started, and retreating was not an option. That's the rule of finance. Whoever retreats admits defeat. He waved his hand and continued. Invest another $50 billion. At least bring it down at 8. 5. A group of subordinates continued to follow orders, but unfortunately, even after adding $50 billion, nothing changed. The expressions on their faces were odd. This time was different from their expectations. Previously, it had already dropped below 8. 5 by now, but now it remained at 9 without moving. They invested $50 billion, and there was no change at all, which made them realize something was off. Sir, what should we do? It's not even at 8. 9. Should we continue investing? We feel something is wrong. This time with the USD/UD is too strange. It seems someone anticipated our judgment. This was absolutely impossible. Mike Keel didn't believe he had been anticipated. He cannot be outsmarted. Gritting his teeth, he could only withstand it. Continue to invest. I don't believe anyone can trick me. Don't worry, it's going to drop soon. I'll invest another $50 billion. Just as he was about to invest again, a phone call came in. Originally reluctant to answer, he had to pick up because the caller was someone significant. Upon answering, he heard the voice of the stock god Buffett, who advised him, "Mike Keel, you can't continue with the USD/UD. Better retreat. You can't outplay this person. Trust me, don't keep investing. Just close your positions and cut your losses now." Knowing Buffett's reputation, he realized that if he stopped now, he would indeed lose over $20 billion. He really didn't want to cut his losses, gritting his teeth with a serious expression on his face. "Mr. Buffett, what do you really know? Or are you planning to drive up the value of the dollar and the Australian dollar?" Buffett replied directly, "It has nothing to do with me. But I know this person's methods. I've lost to him a few times. I'm sure it's him, this financial operator from Huaxia, Shanjiang, who is on par with the top people on Wall Street." McGill was surprised. He didn't expect Buffett to give such a high evaluation. Believing the other party's strength was extraordinary, comparable to their Wall Street big shots, this made him even more unconvinced. He didn't want to admit defeat so easily. He was determined to compete with the other party. Since Buffett had lost to him, if he won, wouldn't that prove he was even better than Buffett? At that time, the title of stock god would be his, and with that title, how could he not have as much money as he wanted? Raising funds would also be much easier. As long as he won, he would be the new stock god of Wall Street. With a sneer, he dropped the line and hung up the phone. "Mr. Buffett, I'm not like you. This time, I will definitely win. I'm different from you. I absolutely cannot lose." After saying that, he directly increased his investment without any hesitation, pouring in $100 billion. Compared to before, he increased his investment by $50 billion, and he became excited all at once. He couldn't help but laugh. "I want to see what kind of skill the person who can win against the stock god Buffett has. As long as he wins against him, he will be the #1 stock god on Wall Street, and controlling trillions of dollars wouldn't be a problem." The current $200 billion was already all the capital he controlled. He never thought about losing with such a large investment. Watching the value drop to 8, 9, he thought he was going to win. But after 8, 9, it stagnated at 8. 8, not moving again, although he had succeeded with a drop of 0. 2, he didn't make much profit because the transaction fees were comparable to that 0. 2 drop. If it didn't reach a 0, 5-point fluctuation, he couldn't consider it a success at all. Watching 8 show no movement, his expression turned ugly. What was going on? Why was it stuck at 8? 8? How much capital did this guy have? Qin Fei's current funds, calculated, were really just under $30 billion, and there was a huge gap in capital between the two. Chapter 67. There are often madmen on Wall Street. This capital is everything. It's already impressive to hold steady at 8. 8. He has predicted the final wave of decline and ultimately stabilizing at 8. 8 has relieved him, his face relaxing, with a serious expression. He knows that the real rise is about to begin. Once 8 moves, 9 will break through again immediately. No one can stop it. 9. 2 has also been reached, and it quickly surges to 9. 5. Qin Fei understands clearly that he has succeeded. It seems that someone on Wall Street is about to lose a large amount of capital. After successfully entering the market, under the condition of the other party continuously adding funds, there's no way to escape. In the early stages, they didn't want to lose to him, but later, they incurred too many losses, and if they run, they will have to compensate for those losses. The other party simply cannot compensate for such massive losses. $200 billion. With losses exceeding $40 billion. It's about to reach $50 billion, and they really cannot afford such terrifying loss funds. So now, even if they want to run, they can't escape. They can only watch helplessly as their accounts show huge gaps, starting to withdraw usable funds to patch up this wall. This leads to even greater losses. Pouring in another $100 billion is useless. The USD-EUD exchange rate ultimately breaks 10. No one can stop it. Qin Fei, who can predict data and sees every point, is indeed invincible. How could Mackey alone compete against him? From the very beginning, he was careless, underestimating Qin Fei's strength. Defeating Qin Fei and becoming a true big shot on Wall Street is not that easy. Otherwise, even the stock god Buffett wouldn't have been defeated several times. If even the stock god Buffett dares not challenge him, what ability does he have to win? Looking at the current loss figures, he couldn't react at all, sitting down heavily in his chair. Several of his subordinates looked at each other. After all, the money they had worked so hard to earn over the past few days was now completely lost. With this wave, they wasted all their efforts and were directly finished. This is finance. No matter how many times you win, as long as you lose badly once, you can go bankrupt. Everything you won previously will be wiped out in this instance. By the end, Mackey was completely mentally unstable. I lost $80 billion. It's about to reach $100 billion. I made hundreds of billions in profit earlier, and now it's all gone. I have nothing left. The bank will surely demand I repay hundreds of billions in compensation. My bank funds, my real estate will all be auctioned off. I become a beggar. I become a beggar. A group of people looked grim, knowing that Mackey had been severely stimulated. From originally being a billionaire, he was about to become a beggar, lying on the streets of London. Who could withstand such a blow? No one could. Mr. Mackey, are you okay? Don't be sad. Maybe we still have a chance to come back. Yes, maybe we'll drop again, and we still have a chance. Mackey's face was pale. He knew he had no chance, and the bank would not give him one either. His phone rang, and with a bitter smile, he said, "No, those people will not give me a chance. The contract I signed states that if I incur a 50 loss, I must stop loss. This means they only allow me to lose $100 billion. If I continue to lose, the bank will terminate the cooperation." Indeed, this is the contract as a securities trader. He had signed contracts with many wealthy individuals, and the bank would oversee his funds. How could they allow him to go bankrupt? If he went bankrupt, the bank would have big trouble. So, when the bank detected that his funds had lost over $100 billion and only about $100 billion remained, they forcibly helped him liquidate his positions and stop losses. They didn't even give him a chance to fight back. All positions were liquidated, all losses were stopped, all operations were handled by the International Bank. Now, liquidating means bearing the loss of profits. Mackey's subordinates all looked grim, furious. Damn it, these banking vampires actually liquidated all our holdings. This is clearly to make us compensate for the losses. These bastards, when we were making money, they wanted to keep increasing our funds. But now, with just $100 billion, they immediately help us liquidate. They are restricting our freedom. We are a free country. I will sue them. Yes, sue them for controlling our accounts. This is limiting our freedom. A group of people was filled with righteous indignation. But how could they win a lawsuit against the banks for limiting their freedom? In the lighthouse country, how could there be freedom? You want freedom with a number over $100 billion? What a joke. The fact that they didn't forcibly collect debt